Hey everyone, glad you're with us for the show today. We're on Okemah Lake in central Oklahoma. I've never seen this body of water before, but from what I've heard, it's a really great place to fish and there's some really nice largemouth bass. Today you're going to get to see exactly how a professional angler breaks down a new body of water. Fox Sports Outdoors starts right now.
You're watching the only program with weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southwest region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
Welcome everybody to this week's episode of Fox Sports Outdoors. I'm Andrew Upshaw, I'm your guest host for Barry this week. We're on Okemah Lake. Okemah Lake is a 450-acre lake in southeast Oklahoma. It's a really pretty lake from everything I can tell. I've never been on this body of water though. This is the first time I've ever launched this boat. You know, the thing is a lot of the lakes in Oklahoma are flooded due to a lot of rains that we've had this spring. So hopefully, and what I'm thinking is these fish are going to be a little bit shallower than usual and the water should be a little bit warm. The fish are going to be up in that water column a little bit shallower. So that's where we're going to target this week. Also, we're going to have some weekly fishing reports from your local region with the insider reporters. But in the meantime, I'm going to get this tracker boat launched in the lake in Okemah. While I do, let's get started back at FSN Studios with the Weekend Planner.
Great news, everyone. The lunar tables are indicating fishing conditions this weekend will be among the best of the month. Top activity during the daytime will begin at 12:56 on Saturday and 1:57 on Sunday. And for those of you wanting to fish at night, peak evening times will start at 12:26 Saturday and 1:27 Sunday. Expect the sun to rise at 6:35 a.m. and set at 8:32 p.m. And night skies will be dark with a new moon on Sunday. Stay with us. We've got fishing reports from around the area on the way. Plus, 2015 Bassmaster Classic champion Casey Ashley joins us for this week's Ask the Pro question. Back in a bit.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Lew's, fueled by passion, driven by innovation. Feel the difference. Jean LaRue Bass Baits and Bobby Garland Crappie Baits, the leaders in soft plastic lures innovation. And Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made.
There's one on the bug. There's one on the bug. That's a nice one. So what we did is we started out in some grass along the bank. Let's go ahead and release this bass real quick. Started on some grass down the bank and we really didn't see what we wanted to fish, you know. So what we did is we came across the lake and found a windy point. And when we pulled up to the windy point, we had expectations to throw crankbaits and things like that. But we threw a worm out there to see what the bottom composition was and figured out there was some rock out there. So we picked up a 7/16 ounce hardhead with a Jean LaRue biffle bug. You know, when you're breaking down a new lake, the best thing you can do is break it down with something you have confidence in. No matter the watercolor, you can pick up a Sooner Run biffle bug on a rocky point, and a lot of times you're going to catch a bass, and that's exactly what we did here. Found a little bit of rock on the bottom, caught a bass on the Sooner Run biffle bug, and that's just a standby when you're fishing a place that has a lot of rock. So next time you're on the lake and you're breaking it down, find your rocky point, throw a biffle bug, you'll catch a bass real quick. Let's go ahead and throw it to our local fishing reports.
A white bass schooling on the top makes me think of popcorn. You know, you got a little bit of action that starts popping here and there, keeps building and building till all of a sudden it erupts into just a total popping commotion all over the place. It's really amazing. It's great fun. It's happening all across the state of Oklahoma at this time. You need to go white bass fishing in Oklahoma. Our larger reservoirs that have great white bass populations are really active at this time. And you know, while it doesn't really matter what you're throwing as a topwater bait when they're busting on top like that, make sure that you have some other baits for when they go down or when you're not seeing them visually surfacing around. As I've told you many times, I like the jigging spoon for this because I can make really long casts with it. I can work it quickly across the top with my rod up and popping it as it goes. It'll hit it on top. When they go down, just keep fishing it below the surface a variety of ways. Little yo-yo actions, let it go to the bottom, and you can still catch those fish even when you don't see them popping on top. Another good option is the Bobby Garland stroller. This little soft plastic bait has this big kick and tail on it. Put it on a 3/16 ounce jig head like I'm showing you here. Fish it on a spinning tackle, long cast with it. Whether they're surfacing or not, they're going to hit the stroller. Great color are your pearl or your shad colors or bluegrass or screamer in the Bobby Garland color lineup. White bass activity is happening all across the state at this time. You can catch them in just about any of the lakes that have good white bass populations. Look for them in the main lake areas. Early and late, a lot of activity going on, but this time of year they can also erupt anytime during the day, and you can have a blast doing that. Young, old, anybody can catch them, but you can't catch them if you don't go.
There we go. That's a nice one there. Oh, there we go. So we saw these fish busting up here on shad. The wind's just barely blowing up in this little channel. I picked up a topwater, threw it in there, had one bite, and just didn't eat it very good. And so what I ended up doing was I picked up the Gene LaRue bass shooter and I threw it on a bait casting rod, and I threw it on a 7-2 finesse jig rod, and I was throwing a gizzard shad colored bass shooter on an 1/8 ounce pinhead, and that thing just looks like a dying shad falling through the water. And this bass, whenever I jerked it up off the bottom, came up, ate it on top of the water. He choked it down in his mouth. That's pretty much how every one of these bass are going to eat that bass shooter. But what you've got to do is you take it and you push it all the way up on the jig head, just like that. And when it falls through the water, it has a really nice circling flutter fall. And that pinhead jig head by Gene LaRue allows that bait to fall just really nice throughout the water. This is the perfect bait fish size. It's a 3.5 inch bait. They're not just reacting to the bait, they're actually eating the bait. And that's really important whenever you're trying to catch a fish. You want them to eat it because they want to eat it, not just because they're reacting to it. Oh, I got him that time. I got him that time. I don't know how big he is. I can't tell. Oh, he ain't that big. I think he's a nice fish though, man. He's just digging hard. Color selection's so huge whenever you're trying to figure out what to catch fish on. The bass shooter is no different. Just that mustad hook is just jammed up in there. Like I might need pliers to get that thing out. We use a really high quality mustad hook on this thing. Let's see if I can get him out. Oh man, there we go, finally. Not a giant bass, but a nice one, a respectable, fun bass to catch. Color selection, like I said, is a huge way in determining how you're going to catch these fish. Like I said before, I always start out with our gizzard shad color, but bluegill is a really great color, especially when they're around bluegill beds. If the water's really dirty, that's when I go to like a black, blue, silver, or a golden June bug. A couple other color choices. But as I told you earlier today, this is a lake that I've never been to before, and I wanted to break it down like I would if I was fishing a tournament. Granted, if I was practicing for a tournament, I wouldn't have hooked all these bass. We've caught almost every fish today within a 50-yard section. We figured out the pattern. They're right on this inside grass line that's right up next to these flooded willow trees and bushes. Once we drag it right outside of the bushes and it falls down that inside grass line, these fish are just annihilating this bait. Let's go ahead and throw it to our local region fishing report, and I'm going to get back and try to catch at least one more bass before I'm done.
Hi folks, this week's Lone Star Lakes is brought to you once again by the good folks at Chili Cheeks, bringing you cool, refreshing comfort wherever you go in the hot Texas sun. Freeze your Chili Cheeks insert and it'll keep you cool whether you're going to the ballpark or the park at the lake. Now this week we're going to talk about neighborhood fishing. That's a program developed by Texas Parks and Wildlife to allow folks to have fishing close to their home. Just like they do in the winter when they stock the rainbow trout, during each summer, Texas Parks and Wildlife will stock many urban ponds with catfish. This is a put and take program. They want you to come and catch these catfish. You can find out more about stocking dates, times, and locations by going to the TPWD website. Just search up TPWD on your computer and it'll pull up the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department website. As far as catching these fish, all you need is standard fishing gear, a medium heavy rod and reel, some 15 to 20 pound test line, and your prepared catfish baits or cut bait. Have fun, take a kid with you, enjoy some neighborhood fishing. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Chili Cheeks. Now let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. He's on the coast.
Hi folks, this week's report is brought to you by Port Aransas on Mustang Island, the fishing capital of Texas, where anglers enjoy pristine bays, estuaries, 18 miles of surf, and the deep blue waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Plus, the local restaurants will even cook your catch come sundown. Come fish and play Texas Island style. For more information, visit portaransas.org. Well, I've got some tips to help you catch fish during the heat of summer. First off, early and late, fish topwater lures along shorelines out to water 4 to 5 feet deep. Switch to soft plastics on 1/8 to 1/4 ounce jig heads if the topwater bite isn't on, but bait is in the area. Use a heavier jig head, 1/4 to 3/8 ounce, when fishing the birds, deeper reefs, in the surf, and around short rigs on the upper coast. Around middle and lower coast grass beds, try a Carolina or Lindy rig with soft plastics on a weightless offset hook. The buoyancy of the soft plastic should allow the bait to suspend just above the grass. Now use Texas Outdoors Journal tide charts and salooner tables to help you fish the most productive part of the day and make a plan. Set up to take advantage of tide movement. Mouths of back lakes and marsh drains are perfect for falling tides. Also, don't overlook the intercoastal waterway. The shorelines of flats and spoil islands that drop off into the deeper ICW provide everything trout need to deal with hot weather. This weekend, both Saturday and Sunday have a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides each day. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
We'll be right back in just a moment. First though, we want to pass along some of your Costa Catch of the Week photos. These entries didn't win, but we still wanted to share some of the great fish catches from around the area. Be sure to stick around for this week's winner at the end of today's show. We're coming right back.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Motor Guide Trolling Motors. Motor Guide, because accuracy matters. Lowrance Electronics, celebrating 60 years of fish finding excellence. Find, navigate, dominate. And Excite Technologies, powering the world forward.
Oh, it's a pretty good one too. That's a great fish to wrap up the day. Oh, there he is. Oh, shoot. He's got me down in, oh, he got me down in that tree. He was all the way up under there. Check that out. He was up under that tree. I thought I saw one boil up under there. Oh, it's a pretty good one too. That's a great fish to wrap up the day. Check that out. That's how they eat it right there. So we're wrapping up the day today on Okemah Lake. Fishing's been pretty good. It's been pretty steady. We found a couple little stretches that had quite a few fish, and we've revisited those stretches a few times and always caught a couple more every time we've gone in there. And honestly, everything we've been catching has been on the bass shooter. I mean, and we've caught a couple this size and a couple a little bit smaller. Lost on this, I mean, probably not even 20 feet away, we lost one that was probably 5 or 6 pounds, you know. And overall, you know, I would say that a couple more days on the lake and we'll probably really dial it in. You know, the unfortunate but fortunate thing that we figured out today was the lake was flooded enough that where all the grass was under the water. So it allowed you to fish up across the grass and drop it in those holes that you couldn't see, and it yielded bites. So with that being said, we're gonna go get off the lake. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it to our fishing reports from our local region. We're gonna go get in and get a really nice cold drink of water because it's pretty hot today.
Hey friends, Captain Kevin Broussard here with your Fox Sports Outdoor Report. We're talking Louisiana saltwater fishing. Tell you what, right now we're in the summertime pattern. As you can see right there, we had a nice catch today. Right now, deeper along the channel, the deeper reefs, live shrimp, soft plastic seems to be the key. Gulf jetties is hot. We caught these fish at the close rigs right offshore, about 25 foot of water. We used the Humminbird electronics. We found them. They were staged up about 5-6 foot off the bottom, had a nice little current. We'd drop it down and just kind of free spool live shrimp and lift it up and down off the bottom. Tell you what, great success. Ran out there, found a good rip line, caught some nice triple tail on it, picked up a ling. Right now along the whole Louisiana Gulf Coast, saltwater fishing's on fire. Towfield Bourgeois taking his float plane all the way out to the chandeliers, he's whacking them. Bill Lake and Homer catching lots of fish. Big thing is right now, get out, get on the water.
Oh, that's a big one. Oh man, that's a real big one. Oh, well, are we gonna see this fish today? He's swimming right at the boat. Oh God, that's a hammer there, guys. I'm scared to flip this one. Whoa, that's what I'm talking about. Check that out, guys. So what we did is we decided to come back to the boat ramp where we took off from. There's a release area right here. They just had a major tournament, and I said, you know what? Most tournaments that I go to, they release a couple hundred fish. They'll stay here for a few days, and we were rewarded with a really nice bass right here, right on this dock. You know, there's nothing better than finishing out your day with a giant bass, and we did it today.
Be sure to join Fox Sports Outdoors again next week, Thursday at 5:30, or catch the repeat airing Saturday morning at 8. And you can always watch the latest episode in full HD on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Plus, catch up on all past episodes by clicking the archive button. And see lots of our how-to and product videos by selecting the how-to button. Join our online fishing community. Just click the like button on our Facebook page for access to daily posts with lots of fishing news, videos, and frequent giveaways. And stay up to date with all the latest fishing information and photos by following our Twitter feed. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than a boat, it's a tracker. Mercury Marine, go boldly. And Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro question. This week, Chris would like to know, I'm catching lots of bass on a drop shot rig, but not hooking any big ones. Is there any secret to catching the bigger fish? For the answer, we asked 2015 Bass Master Champion, Casey Ashley.
The thing about a drop shot you have to remember, it's a different presentation and a lot of different guys use it in many different ways, different leaders, but to catch bigger fish on a drop shot doesn't necessarily mean that that's just something that you do different, you know, but I can tell you with a drop shot, my most success in catching bigger fish is you're moving the bait a lot, but you're not actually moving it, if that makes any sense. So you want it to stay in place and shake it a lot. Even, you know, your sinker's on the bottom, so even give it slack line so your bait actually makes that slow fall just like it would with a weightless worm or a weightless Senko, and then you bring it back up in their face. That a lot of times will trigger a lot more strikes and catch you some bigger fish because the bait stays in place a lot longer.
Thanks, Casey. If you have a question for one of the pros, visit our website, follow the Ask the Pro link on the right side of the page, and send it in. Now, one of our viewers wins a new pair of sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
This week's Costa Catch of the Week winner is Steve Martin of New Braunfels, Texas, showing a 25-inch rainbow trout he caught in the Guadalupe River in Texas using ultralight tackle and 4-pound test line. To enter the contest, go to foxsportsoutdoors.com, click the Costa Catch box on the right side of the homepage, and follow the instructions to send in your big fish photo. You could win a new pair of Costas, and you can see all the Costa sunglasses at their website. Just go back to our site, click the Costa logo, and you can see all the frame and lens styles, including the style I'm wearing today called Luke's in the Sunrise Mirror. In this week's episode, we started on Okemah Lake in southeastern Oklahoma. I've never seen this lake before in my life, so this was a new experience on this lake. I just went fishing. I saw the lake was really high, and I started out of instinct with a topwater. I started with the new Bill Lewis Lures Stutter Step 4.0. I had a couple really good blow-ups on it, but they didn't hook up, and I think the reason is they really weren't wanting to react on top. And that's when everything changed. Picked up the Gene LaRue bass shooter. It's a 3.5-inch bait with the Gene LaRue pinhead jig head and an 1/8 ounce, and I was throwing the weedless version on a 7.2 finesse jig, Lew's custom speed stick, and a Team Lew's Pro magnesium reel with 12-pound fluorocarbon. What I started doing and figuring out was these fish were on the inside edge of the water well line that was under the water, and they were between the bushes and the water well, and they were sitting in that little section. So all I had to do with this bass shooter is throw it up to the edge of the bushes, hop it a couple of times, and let it twirl down in front of that grass line, and that's what invoked those strikes. Caught tons of fish today, even caught a big one at the end of the day right by the boat ramp at some release fish from a tournament over the weekend. You know, the really cool thing about it is we caught them on a bait that is so unique, so different, and we caught them doing it in a way that really isn't advertised. You know, they advertise this bait to be a dock shooting bait, but we caught them casting around the bushes. Just goes to show you how much us bass fishermen know. Thank you for joining us here on Fox Sports Outdoors. I was your guest host, Andrew Upshaw. Barry's going to be back next week. I hope you can find and catch more fish here on Lake Okemah. I know I'm going to be back. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you next time.